Today we got a special interview today with Mikey Gordon, who's known as, in the independent scenes here in San Diego, Dirty Ron Macdonald. So we're not going to do it here in this nice location we're at. We're going to do it at his home, which is, I'm not going to reveal. But I'm also going to throw in what is the results for the Wednesday Night War and many other things we're going to talk about. Also, news update and new acquisitions in promotions. So, sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the ride of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
We might be talking about food, maybe or not, but we're actually going to be talking a little bit about wrestling. I got two guests for you. One is a host of one of our other shows, which is the Deleted Wrestle Zone. You can check that out on YouTube. And our special guest today is the legendary Dirty Ron. He's the promoter of Combat Fists.
Fist Combat.
Fist Combat. My bad. I suck. Professional journalism at its best.
I should have worn my logo shirt. It would have been way easier. Yeah. I didn't know till the last minute this was going to be a video thing. I got me a nice shiner right here, so hiding out, looking like one of those assholes that hangs out in the VIP section of a nightclub. You know, like, oh, look at me, it's nighttime. We're inside. I'm wearing my sunglasses.
I feel you.
It's good. Did I get the mic in the right spot?
I just caught your last match at Pure Platinum. Was it?
Yeah. I'm still scarred, and I wrapped the ring in barbed wire and wrestled a guy I've been wrestling for a long time.
That's right.
Randy Order. It was a good old time, man. You know, like I don't mind getting a little bloody. You know, I would pull the thumbtacks out. Got my girlfriend involved in the match, and at the end of it, we ended up like wrapping him up on the table in barbed wire, and then I dove off the balcony and gave him a big old elbow drop through it. That's what got me this nice scar. It's probably gonna be a permanent one, I think. Yeah, I didn't really know exactly where that happened from. I hit him up. I was like, "Yo, I got a big old scar on my elbow." He's like, "Oh, it's probably from the elbow drop." Like, good idea. That's probably where that was from.
There you go.
I don't mind doing them hardcore matches though. You know, like I kind of dig it. I've always kind of like looked at what everybody else does and just do something different. You know, because like, you know, you watch a lot of wrestling these days, and it's a lot of nameless, faceless stuntmen. I mean, you look at the same in UFC. Look at basically the same in boxing. I mean, look at these characters that are on TV. You know, just there's a lot of nameless, faceless, watered down characters. I mean, like when we all started liking wrestling, look at what made wrestling good. You had these guys that were going out there hungry. They were unscripted. They went out there and they had to take their spot and make it. The Rock, Stone Cold. I mean, look at everybody down the line. Al Snow, Bob Holly. Like from the top all the way to the bottom. Those guys, you felt it. You felt it with them. You know, like you felt something real. And that's what I'm all about. You know, I'm all about making people feel like what they're at is real. I mean, we all watch movies. We all sit back and watch $600 million movies, you know, at home on Netflix for $8.99. But what I'm all about, not just with my comedy and my wrestling, but the live show experience. You know, people say that ratings are down. You know, that live show attendance is down. Yeah, because there's so many other different things that you can watch. There's so many other different avenues. I can sit here, I got Hulu for $6.99 a month or whatever the fuck. You know, I can say fuck, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I can watch it for $6.99, whatever the fuck. I can watch every show of The Office. I'm in the middle of binge watching Brickleberry while I'm doing shit on my computer. Why? And I don't. That's how much money do they spend on those things? Where I'm trying to put on a live show. So like, what we put on, the idea with what I do, not just with wrestling, but also with comedy, is to put on something different that you can fucking feel. That you can feel. You go to a live fist combat show, it's not like any other independent wrestling promotion out there. I don't focus on these guys that can do a cool move. Why? Because they're waiting for the next cool move. Whereas you find somebody that can connect with somebody, somebody can feel, a real person going out there and telling you who they are and what they're fighting for, right? Whether it's Dirty Ron Macdonald going out there and throwing fake cocaine into somebody's face and making burger puns the whole time, or whether it's Randy Orton, who you feel like really believes that he's a strong arm of the law, you know, or you got guys like Danny Limelight who are going out there and fighting for every inch that he can get inside of that ring. These guys are they're giving you everything, and they're characters that you can connect with. You know?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say about what I noticed about your last match was that it was beautifully timed. The high spot was the finisher, and I really appreciated that. Like how it was just like it was really timing, really smooth. Who was the guy that came out of nowhere with the devil horns?
So Randy Orton has went through Randy Orton started as a tag team with Chip Law and Order, okay? Which is actually my girlfriend's idea. Her and I, we spitball a lot of ideas. We're both comedians. We've known each other for 5.5 years. You know, I'm gonna marry this girl. Anyway,
there you go.
She's great. So you know, seeing the progression of Chip Law, he left. He moved out of town. So Randy Orton was left now, and so we've been trying to put him and have him manage some people, and now he's managing these two guys, the Barrio Boys, who are two guys who speak Spanish, and he's like, hey, I kept you guys out of jail. I'm the long arm of the law. You do my bidding for me.
Yeah.
One of those guys had to go to another show, so there was only one of those guys left.
Yeah, because it was funny. Like I kind of popped for that because like I was like I was just watching the match and I was like, damn, dude, this fool's fucking him up. And then this dude comes out of nowhere. I was like, hey, who the fuck is this guy fucking everything up? Like,
well, you know that's. I've been a wrestler for 18 years now. This is my 19th year, I guess.
Nice.
Not like full time for 19 years. You know, I had my first match in September 2001. Actually, we're same time the Twin Towers went down. Anyway, that's the first time I realized that. Right. Oh wait, why did I say that? But yeah, man, I've been wrestling a long time. My mom was a pro wrestler for a few years back in the day, some low level independent shit.
Okay.
And look, wrestling's just in my blood, you know, like it's something that I love. And I think more, like I love wrestling.
Nice.
I love connecting with the fans. I love connecting with people. I love connecting with the audience. I love making the audience that I want to perform to and then performing to them. Because that's what we did with Fist Combat. We had an idea all along. 21 and up, non-traditional wrestling fans, people that are like, hey, for 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks, I'll come out, pay a ticket, go watch this wild ass shit going on at the bar. Like, what else can you be doing downtown? What other form of entertainment is there in this world? You tell me that you are encouraged to yell, get drunk, and yell at the entertainers, and they're supposed to yell back at you.
Exactly.
You can't do that at a comedy show. You can't do that at a movie theater. You can't do that at church. You know what I'm saying? None of those places can you yell at the entertainer. Yeah, that was a slight dig at the religion there. But nowhere else can you yell at the entertainer and have them yell back at you, and it's highly encouraged. You can't do that shit. And wrestlers do that. We're giving you a live action drama, comedy, stunt show, you know, all that shit mixed up in one take with the audience 360 degrees around us, all while we're in our fancy underwear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where else can you fucking see that shit? Nowhere else besides professional wrestling. We're all larger than life. Every comedian I've ever met wants to be a pro wrestler. Every rock star I've ever met wants to be a comedian. And fucking everybody wants to be a goddamn pro wrestler. That's a true story. And to be able to live a little part of that dream every day is the fucking coolest thing ever. But putting on the shows and putting the story together for people to enjoy, that's what I get the most enjoyment out of. Because not only do I put on a show for somebody that might come one time, right? Only see one show ever. You see a story, you know? But to put on a show for people that come all the time, hey, I want to put on a story for you guys so you can see a long-term story, you know? But also at the same time, we're recording it so we can put out content so people that not are in San Diego can see it and go, oh, I kind of get what the fuck's going on here, even though I'm not there.
That's right.
You know?
See, that was always my problem. You got anything to add, J-Rod?
Well, I've always been a fan of wrestling growing up, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Starting from the old school, like Hulk Hogan, and Macho Man, all that other stuff, and also watching...
Change my glasses.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Also been watching, like, a lot of the, you know...
What you got for me there, J-Rod? Let me hear ya!
Alright. Watching also, like, some of the older CML wrestling shows, you know? And first time I started watching Fist Combat, I'm like, wow, it's completely different from what I'm looking at now. Like, I don't know if you've been following AEW recently. You know,
you almost have to.
Yeah. Basically, what I've seen now is like there are completely some promotions are going to different location, different how do I say direction where they want to go.
Right.
Did you felt the same way with Fist Combat, like saying I want to go this way instead?
100%. You know, that's always the way I felt being an entertainer. You know, being a wrestler, in music, in comedy, and now when I promote live shows, it's giving you something different because it's gonna stand out. You know, like to give some. Okay, if you see a bunch of the same stuff, like for instance, okay, I went to a few PWG shows, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla shows. A friend of Matt Seidel's. I've known Matt since we were fucking kids wrestling each other's backyards.
Oh, man.
And, you know, to go to those shows and to watch three times they're doing like belly to bellies off the top rope, and they're kicking out two of them, and this is just the second match on the show. Like, God damn, these motherfuckers are gonna kill themselves. You know, like I was all when I first got the biz. All the old guys were like, you guys need to do less, make it mean more, do less, make it mean more. And I never really got it until I got older and I realized doing less and making it mean more is better for everybody. You know, it's like, look at any fucking UFC fight in the history of UFC. Why do people pay the most to see Conor McGregor? Well, because he does the most outside of the fight. The fight is only the fight, you know? It's all what you do to get to the fight, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how you have to be different. You know, like I see a lot of independent wrestlers these days, and nobody, like 98% of them can't cut a fucking promo to save their lives. They can't talk you into the building. And I'm gonna get shit for this, but it's the fucking truth. You watch anybody back in the day, they could all talk you into the fucking building. On any given second, Ric Flair could cut a 5-minute promo on you just on what the hell you're wearing. Why? Because that's what it was all about. It was all about talking you into the building. Right. Now they all got to do these fucking moves to kill themselves, and everybody's just like, oh, cool, that's cool. When's the next cool fucking move?
Brian Pillman was the one who have you ran promotions at.
Well, Fist Combat started in January 2007 in right outside St. Louis, Missouri, where I'm originally from.
Okay.
I ran about 60 shows or so from 2007 to 2013. I moved out West Coast. I ran it in Santa Cruz from 2015 to the beginning of 2017. And then I moved down here beginning of 2017. And we've been fucking rocking ass ever since.
All under the same name?
Yeah, Fist Combat.
Okay.
Well, for the first year it was Fist Wrestling. But then I was like, you know what? Wrestling kind of got a bad connotation with it. This was 2007. So I was like, let's call it Fist Combat. Now, Fist is an acronym for Finest Independent Stars Today. So we try to pull in people from all over the place. Hey, you know, like we'll have a Joey Janela on a show. Well, not anymore. You know, Peter Avalon was our champion all summer long. You know, like a lot of the guys that we have now are like some of the best and brightest up and comers. Like these are the guys that are going to have contracts within the next 2 years. You know, and we're able to have these guys on our shows now. You know, but like where I'm looking at is I'm not even looking at those guys because I've got to put on 2 to 3 live shows every month. So I'm looking at who's going to be next, who's going to be hot in 9 to 12 months. So, you know, for the last 3-4 months, I've had my eye on the next crop of guys that, all right, we're going to push these guys kind of like they're connecting with the fans. You know, they know how to interact with people. They know how to sell. They know how to get fucking asses in the door by selling it, however, you know.
That's right.
By getting loud, by fucking interacting with people, by talking, by connecting. That's what we're here to do, you know. so many comics and so many wrestlers, they get into this shit to suck their own dick. Okay? They do this, they're like, oh, look how cool my gift was. Okay? Well, that's not what being an entertainer is about at all. Being an entertainer is about entertaining the audience that's there in front of you, that paid with money or with their time or both to come see you, to come see a show. So get out of your own fucking ego, get your own dick out of your mouth, and entertain the people that are there. You know, I gotta wrestle different at my 21 and up shows than I do wrestling at some festival with kids at it. And I gotta know that as an entertainer. If I'm doing a bar show where people are eating dinner, doing comedy, and I'm going out there about fucking eating some pussy or some shit, you can't do that at a dinner show. You know, you can't do that shit. I run, starting here in the next couple weeks, every Saturday from 11:30 p.m. to 1:30 in the morning. I'm going to be running the 11:30 Dirty on the main stage of the Madhouse Comedy Club. That's a show where it's going to be, oh shit. That's a show where it's going to be fucking disgusting. Disgusting, filthy, gross, grotesque comedy. But, you got to know who your audience is. And you got to give them a show. You got to get out of your own ego, That's why I don't do clean comedy shows.
Right.
Like, hey, can you do 15 minutes clean? I'm like, yeah, I guess. I'm telling you everything you need to know, which is, yeah, I'll do it. Does it pay well? Because I don't this is a job to me. If I gotta go out and do 15 minutes of clean comedy, that's a job. I didn't do this shit to have a job. I did all this shit to not have a job,
How long have you been doing your comedy for?
I got on stage for the first time in July 2010. Since July 2014, I've been on stage 6 to 10 times every week.
That's crazy.
So I say that I've been doing comedy about 5.5 years. And I just put out my first stand-up comedy album.
Consistently, like with no breaks.
I mean, like, if there was a break of me doing 6 to 10 times a week, I did 4 because I was on the road doing shows, and I did 1 show each day for 4 days.
Yeah.
But at least 6 to 10 times every week for 5.5 years.
Yeah, you're a fucking machine.
I mean, and if I'm not doing comedy, I'm training to wrestle.
For that.
Yep.
I think I relit this blunt like 5 times.
I lost count.
Gotta be 5, 6, or 7. The video won't lie though.
Probably should have edited this saying 1, 2.
The counter?
Ding.
Had a little counter and shit?
Yeah, somewhere around there. That'll be fun.
So did anyone catch the Joker movie?
Loved it.
Yes.
Loved it.
I heard from various people saying there were some people that left during the film when it was coming out. And there are people, they don't understand this about the Joker. And I just told this yesterday at my church with the guy who plays the lead guitar. People think, oh, there's a specific Joker, you know what I mean, that people like. I'm like, no. You look at guys like Cesar Romero from the 1960s, He had
the originally played in the TV show?
Yeah, him. If you look at him, he was completely, had his own way. Then you got Jack Nicholson. You got Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
But Mark Hamill did say something that was true, that I agree with him. There is no specific way how the Joker should be played.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody has their own way. And right now I'm hearing this. I don't know if you heard this. Jared Leto is getting pissed off that many people are forgetting about him. I was like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
I have no idea why I just put it out.
because here's the thing. I look at the Jared Leto's Joker version, like, this is not the Joker that I knew of, growing up.
Here's the beauty of all of that is, how I said earlier, it's not about you, the entertainer, it's about the audience.
Yes.
That's truth. Yeah, you ever talk to any artsy-fartsy art people?
Fuck no.
Okay, well, like, here, when they go to an art gallery, they look at some piece on the wall, and they all have a different interpretation of it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of art. We talked a little bit about AEW before we started recording here. I don't know, maybe we were recording.
Yeah.
And you're like, you keep up on AEW. And that's the beauty, is that wrestling, just like the Joker, wrestling is now not wrestling, it's music. What I mean by that is WWE is classic rock and roll. AEW is mumble rap. That's me dissing it a little bit. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, fucking Impact is fucking I don't know, punk rock. You know, fucking the NWA just came back. Well, those are the oldies. You know, like fist combat is fucking heavy metal. Wrestling is now, it's not just wrestling. You can pick and choose what you like, and that's the beauty of it too.
Did you fans like metalcore?
Exactly. You can come up with a million, but wrestling isn't wrestling anymore. Wrestling is whatever you want it to be. There's so much of it out there that you can have a choice. It can be literally whatever the fuck you want it to be.
Now, I totally get the AEW is mumble rap because that's what's hot.
Right. That's what's hot, and I think it's a fad, and it's not going to last. But
it's not.
I love the idea behind it. I love the passion of the vocal minority that's behind that.
Right.
But here's the thing. When you're the cool underground whipped dog, like they've been, and they made themselves shine without anybody,
yeah,
then you're the fucking hot indie product. But once you fucking sell out, start taking that big dog money, well, you're not the underdog anymore.
That makes sense.
That's what got them to the dance, was the underdog.
That's probably why I never really liked faces. Like, I've always been a heel guy. Like,
because they're the underdog.
Yeah, like, as soon as someone turns face, I'm like,
and that's your choice to do that. But that's what the beauty of what got it. Hey, all the power in the world to him. All the power in the world to him. But it's like I fought on Monday Night Raw one time against Braun Strowman.
I saw that video.
I'm 195 pounds legit, pretty fucking strong. That dude is fucking 18 feet tall and weighs 3,000 pounds. Alright? That's AEW against WWE. It's not AEW against NXT. It's AEW against WWE. You are talking about a fucking juggernaut. Against a fucking... It's like, yeah, it's David and Goliath, and every other time except that one time, David got his fucking ass kicked. You know? Hey, how good they're out there doing it, you know? Hell yeah. I'm all about the underdog. But they're not the underdog anymore.
At the Cracker Barrel, when I went to go visit the Young Bucks over there, and like most of the fans are pretty cool, but like for some reason, like I got this table next to like these because like, I actually ate there. The Cracker Barrel's fire.
Oh, dude, I know I'm from the Midwest, brother. I know. All about that Cracker Barrel.
That's all new.
I mean, my first name is the first name of that shit is basically me, you know.
And like there was a couple of like wrestling fans, they were just like talking about like they were totally talking about like the whole the Battle of Los Angeles, and they're all like, oh, they didn't do this right, and this was this, and and like I was just like, damn, dude, like shut up, like.
Do you want to know when I ask people? Like, I love hearing even wrestlers or wrestling fans talk about running their own promotion, because like, dude, it's like a fucking iceberg. Okay. Running a wrestling promotion, like here most people think it is. Most people think, all right, as a promoter, all you gotta do is book the matches, make a wrestling poster, and then keep all the money. Like, are you out of your fucking mind? That's like the tip of the iceberg. You know what most of the iceberg is? Yeah. Me dealing with wrestlers and their egos and their fucking personal drama, and I can't wrestle this guy, or I can't be around this guy, or or you should make me the champion, or I can do this, no, I can't do this, no, like whatever the fuck, and like being able to put on a story.
Like, they go to people like, hey, you should make me the champion.
Dog.
I thought like a committee figures that out.
Dog. A committee. Here's your committee right here, one and only. Like me and my girlfriend basically write all the shit. You know, like we come up with the stories, you know, we put on 2 to 3 live shows a month, and we put on, you know, a weekly episodic thing that gets you caught up with all the little fucking stories we got going on. So, you know, like we're out there, we're doing shit, you know, but man, coming up with these stories are like, oh, I do want to wrestle this guy, or oh, you know, like, and here's the thing, nobody's getting rich off this thing. I mean, like, I make a decent amount of money if I do well at the show, but if I lose money on the show, none of the wrestlers are taking less money. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like, the risk on running all these shows, and like, sometimes I sit back and wonder, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? You know? For so long, we just lost money on every show. Every show, but I always believed, I'm like, one day, we'll fucking turn a corner. It was about a year ago where we're at right now. From then till now, I ran about 34 live shows, and only one of them lost money, which is a fucking, whoa, it's a huge streak, you know, to be able to do that as an independent wrestling promoter. Because, dude, it's hard. It's hard because you got to keep it fun and interesting.
Yeah.
For people to come out and want to come out all the time, you know. Like I don't get to the point of like begging people to come to my show, but I do give out a lot of free tickets, you know, to people that wouldn't come to the show. And it's like, hey man, you want to come see something cool on a Wednesday, Thursday, or probably Friday at a strip club? Come check out this live pro wrestling that's put on for people that don't like pro wrestling. You know, I want people to come to a bar show because like, where else can you buy a beer and fucking yell at a motherfucker in their underwear and they're gonna yell back at you, tell you they're gonna fuck your mom in the ass or some shit? You know, Fist Combat. On all the posters till about a year ago, we wrote "Get Drunk and Heckle." Then Bud Light started printing our posters, and they go, "Take out the Get Drunk." And I was like, "All right, get loud and heckle." But that's what it's all about, you know. Pro wrestling, the best form of entertainment in the world. You know, I auditioned for stunt shit or fucking little acting work here and there. I feel like the skills I got learning from pro wrestling are far better than these actors that got to take more than one take into one angle in the camera.
Yeah.
You know, they need to get their face right and everything. Man, pro wrestling's where it's at, dude.
Can I ask you this? Since you run Fist Combat, like,
Yeah.
do you ever, how to say, when you see how good the show has turned out to be, you know, at the end of the night, do you ever wonder how can we top it the next time? You ever go through
That's
that?
a constant struggle. It's a constant struggle. It's a constant struggle. So, the show that we lost money on, okay, we put on the 4 most incredible shows I've ever put on a streak this summer, and it was so hot. First show of the fucking one with Peter Avalon went over for the title. Fuck, the show was fucking amazing. The place was jam packed. We moved from La Mesa, Jolton Joe's to downtown.
I remember that.
Bam, fucking packed. Crowd was there was the most money that we've ever sold in tickets. That was the hottest crowd, and that was the biggest crowd we've ever had. Next show, Comic-Con show. We broke all those records. Most pre-sales, most people there, longest show we've ever had, hottest crowd we've ever had. The show after that, Fist versus versus Game Changer Wrestling with Joey Janela and Nick Gage, so I fought Nick Gage in a Fans Bring the Weapons match. Most money we've ever sold in there, most people there, hottest crowd we've ever had. And then the show after that, SummerSlam, was 2 weeks after that. SummerSlam, that's Joey Ryan was on the show. Peter Avalon, Joey Ryan versus Peter Avalon. It was fucking me in the hair versus hair match. Big long feud I've been going in all year. Hottest crowd, most money we've ever sold, most people we've ever had there. All summer. 2 weeks later, we do a show with no names on it. 3 days after Labor Day. Compared to those 4 shows, it was fucking, you know, I don't want to say it was a garbage show because it was a great show. But like nobody showed up. We just hit them too hard. Hit them too hard, too quick. You know, and we lost that. So, you know, like, I looked at and it was the first night of NFL. So I looked at all these things and I was like, fuck, like, this is the first time I've lost money on a show in a year. You know, I got that feeling and I was just like, fuck, like, this sucks. But then I looked at all those factors. I was 3 days after Labor Day. We got no, like, big names on the show.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have a match announced for myself. You know, which I know that I draw some people to my own show. You know, I'm not gonna lie. You know, there was just it was a missable show because 2 weeks after that was our first show at the strip club that I had already sold $1,500 in tickets to. So like I get it, you know, but like putting on something hot enough, like we just put on the strip club show last week. Next Wednesday, the night before Halloween, we got a show. 8 days later, I got a big show with Nick Gage and all these motherfuckers, and then 2 weeks after that, we're back at the strip club. So like, that's fucking 4 shows. Plus, I'm doing Kushstock in between that, and I just did a festival show down in Mexico last Saturday. Just like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shows, 7 shows within a month. Sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
I had to get that
I think
joke
for
in
me with ECW, like I think my favorite matches on there were all the Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis.
Dude,
Those were fucking legendary.
I got a shirt commemorating that feud. Fuck, it was one of my favorite shirts. And you know, like when I got to talk to Psychosis a few times. I got him booked on this show coming up here.
What?
Which Psychosis? There's 2 of them.
Oh no, there's not. There's only one Psychosis.
Because the one I know of is Nicho Miguel.
That's his unmasked name now.
Yeah.
He still wrestles under the mask also,
Oh,
Psychosis.
okay.
And that's who he's wrestling at my show.
Cool.
The 7th best he is on
Yeah,
the show.
I just saw him at the last Baja Stars event.
Oh, yeah.
Early this year. He was in 6-man tag with Super Crazy and this other guy. I did not know who he is, but until I found out that
Danny Limelight?
No, it's Crazy Frank. I don't know if you heard of
Crazy Frank.
I did not.
Dope-ass name.
Here's the thing. I did not know that.
Crazy Frank was crazy? You thought he was just regular?
He's more like a hardcore wrestler. He's
Crazy
extreme.
Frank? Okay.
He fits like in the same caliber as, you know, Nicho and Super Crazy. You know, the hardcore guys.
Right.
And I find that this is what happened before I got there. Ran into people that I know from church, and they're like,
Church.
I didn't know that you were into wrestling. Like, yeah. And then I asked them, I didn't know either. He's like, oh, the only reason we're here was because they have a family member. Crazy Frank is part of their family.
Oh, no shit.
And they told me that he wrestles hardcore stuff down in Tijuana. And I'm like, whoa.
Get me in touch with this Crazy Frank.
Well, I gotta talk to his family first, see if I can.
Oh, it's like that? He's like fucking super gangster?
Thing is, I don't know much about him because
Nobody does. Nobody knows about
because
Crazy
here's the thing,
Frank.
He's
fucking crazy!
I just saw videos of him, and I think there's a promotion. I don't know if it, how legit it is or what they do. It's called Tijuana Pro Wrestling. They have like stacks of light bulbs. Nico, you saw that video, remember?
Yeah, you showed me that.
Yeah, he had like a stack of light bulbs over there, and he was wrestling some guy, and they're like, he's like saying this, taking off like, "Pégame, cabrón," you know, and they're like whacking each other with light bulbs.
Oh, then we're gonna be doing that on the November 7th.
With the fluorescence?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they were doing that day. I'm like saying, dang, I didn't. He's really that extreme, and I didn't even know that about. Like, wow, I never would imagine.
You can't call yourself Crazy Frank if you don't do crazy ass shit.
I'll see if I can try to get a hold of them and see past them
Crazy
on
Frank,
TV.
I need to get.
But you should look it up on YouTube. You know,
Crazy Frank.
What is it like wrestling with the fluorescent lights? It's like, how do you keep that shit from getting in your
Scary
eyes?
as fuck.
Dude? Like, that shit can get in
Close
your eyes, right?
dude. Fucking, it's nuts. Light tubes are the only thing that I don't allow at Fist Combat. But this show on the 7th, it's like our one night only fucking crazy light tube now. Because we got this warehouse, and like, I don't do light tubes, not because I don't want to. There are guys on my shows that want to do that shit. Personally, I don't. Glass gets everywhere.
Yeah,
but we're doing this at a warehouse.
Yeah.
And we're not scared of like losing somebody's liquor license or some shit like that because, you know, like if you're like when I bleed at a bar, you know, that shit ain't sanitary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we just keep it in a contained area. I don't want glass flying around people. But
Right.
at this show on the 7th, we're gonna have guardrails around the ring that we traditionally don't do, and then we're gonna allow glass.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever follow, like, for me, I have been following a lot of the extreme wrestling stuff, you know, like the barbed wires and all
Bro,
that.
that's my jam.
And
I
then-
wrestled
yeah,
for the Clowns,
there-
ICP.
Yeah, there's how do I say, I seen how, I don't know if you heard of this promotion, it's in Spanish called Desastre Total Ultra Violenta, which means disaster total ultra violent.
What's the letters?
DTU.
Yeah, I know DTU.
Yeah, I'm like seeing things like that, you know, what they do. I seen how they are always trying to make sure that none of the glass goes out to the audience. They always try. There was like a small documentary talking about, like, they try to make sure that none of the glass goes outside to the fans. Try to keep it contained. They try to find a way.
Yeah, man, it's difficult. Like as a promoter, I don't totally understand it. And that's another reason why I don't do that crazy shit. You know, like we're insured, but we have to pay per event. You know, we got to pay a couple $100 per event.
Okay.
So you know, like it's hard for a wrestling promotion to get insurance. So I can only imagine if some fucking glass gets into somebody's eye or some shit. Like, dude, man, like some of these promotions, they have people standing like up close to the ring during them fucking matches. It's like, dude, what the fuck? You know, like what are you trying to do, man?
Kill yourself.
You know, yeah, you don't want to get hurt for real. Like, fuck, dude.
So, do you try to keep this like a minimum of these type of shows, like when you do hardcore stuff?
No, I'm giving people a fucking show. Like,
No, like they do the glasses, the broken glass, all that stuff that doesn't get into the audience. You do that like.
oh,
That's what I was referring to.
so like I'm pretty much known for doing thumbtacks a lot. You know, I've done a few barbed wire matches. You know, like some ladder matches and shit. You know, like I'll pretty much do whatever. But like, there's not a whole lot of guys on my shows that do that. So I'm like that guy that does that on our shows. And currently, I hold the Triple X Championship, which basically means whatever the fuck we want it to. But it's kind of like a hardcore championship kind of thing. But yeah, what's that?
Champion?
Triple X. Well, I'm not swinging my dick around with it. So, I should take one of those X's out of there. I think. I should take one of those. Maybe it's just a double X because Triple X is like hardcore. I don't know.
Hardcore champ.
You're not gonna let people from your church hear this interview, are you?
No, not. There are people that maybe a small, like 5%, they do, only because they want to show support to me. You know what I mean?
Oh, the viewers.
Yeah, because the thing is this, like, as a fan, they ask me, what is it that you like about it? Like, it's exciting, you know, like, I like matches that get me off my feet, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
If there's, like, let's say that, like, I don't know if you ever followed the New Japan stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, you know how
so
there's...
quiet.
Yeah, but here's the thing, you know how they have, like, a 16-minute time limit match, you know, like,
right.
For, like, let's say a title match. Like, it starts with the first half hour with... It's all silent.
Right.
And then, okay, we reach the half an hour point. Someone has to win. And
right.
you don't know who's going to win. And I literally had to show one person the match between, I think it was Okada versus Omega Part 4 on that one. Try to show them, like, okay, this is what happens.
That was a 1 hour, 19 minute...
Somewhere around there. And that was like a long match. And people were like, wow, I can't believe how it started out quiet and then it gets exciting because you don't know who's going to win once we reach past the half an hour mark.
Right.
You know, that's what gets me excited because you don't know who's going to win. You don't know if it's this guy who's going to retain the championship or this guy who's challenging for the title. You don't know that. That's what gets me going.
Did you say it earlier about when the Mexican guy came with the horns, or were you saying that when the guy came and got me from behind?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so the beauty of that story that we told on that match. See, like, even if you had never seen me wrestle Randy Orton, which we have beaten the shit out of each other in every type of match possible, from cage matches to fucking, knockout and submissions only, to barbed wire matches, all that type of shit. We have wrestled each other in everything. Even if you didn't know that, the story of that match was, he's a cop, he came out there with extra padding on, right? So he comes out there, he starts whooping my ass, basically, we're trading back and forth, and then I go into the barbed wire first, and then he throws me in the barbed wire more. I try to reverse it, I take his fucking pads off, Here he goes. He's going, nope, fuck that, I go back into the barbed wire. Finally, I get him and throw him into the barbed wire. Then he tries to throw me into the barbed wire, I dump him over the ring. So now here we are on the outside. Here we go, I fucking set up the chairs, he cuts me off. He goes for a fucking powerbomb on these chairs on the concrete. Finally, 10 minutes into the match, I finally get my first comeuppance. Okay? Boom, now finally here I am. I just powerbomb him through these chairs. Finally I get to beat the shit out of him. No! Other dude comes in, cuts me off, Yeah,
he did that, dude. That's how I was all, what the fuck? This is bullshit.
So then now Randy Orton sees my girlfriend, who happened to be working the door that night, who was also a very new professional wrestler.
She jumped out of the balcony, yeah?
So Orton grabs her by the hair, says, look, this is your man right here, fucking hits her in the gut. Boom! Referee takes her out. Here they go, these guys are beating me up all over the fucking little arena. We get to the other side, she's up on the balcony, she goes, hey motherfuckers, she jumps down, takes them out, right? So now we throw the one guy out, boom, we throw Randy Orton back in the ring. I fucking throw a table in the ring. I finally get back in the ring, Orton cuts me off again. Boom, hits me with the fucking table. Lays me out on the table. Goes up to the top rope to do something. Oh shit, here comes my girlfriend, pulls him off the top rope. So now we put him on the table, wrap the table in him in barbed wire, so he ain't fucking getting up. I go up to that balcony, drop the fucking elbow from the heavens. 1, 2, 3. What a story that we told, Yeah. It's all about the story. And if you watch that match, the place is fucking electric. From the time that Randy Orton comes out to the time that I fucking hit that 1, 2, 3, that place was fucking electric. And you know what? You don't see that at a whole lot of independent wrestling shows because asshole wrestling fans will sit there and tell you what they didn't like instead of being there and showing you with their bodies what they do like. That's why I put on wrestling, for the crowd that I wanted to create, and that's the beauty of what we do. is that we give people a show that they're going to appreciate.
You know, I seen that as well when I go to the Level Up showcase. Like, there were 2 matches that kind of were the main event, but they stole the night. You know, it was the first one was Mike Camden versus Hunter Freeman. It became like a no DQ match, but I told everybody I like to call this the balls match because they're literally punching and kicking each other in the groin. We're like, oh my god, it's funny. Hunter Freeman's girlfriend was like right in the corner, yelling at Mike, saying, "Those are my children." And I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, I want to have kids one day. I'm like, oh my. We were all laughing that she was getting into it, even though she's not in the ring. She was like, oh my god, she's really into it. I even told this to Hunter, and I posted this on one of my previous episodes. Hunter had to show this to her, and she just can't believe that I mentioned her. You know, and I told her it was a good story to see those 2 kicking each other in the balls. You know, I'm like, how often do you see that? You know, 2 dudes kicking and punching each other in the balls. Not a lot. And
yeah, it should have been a disqualification.
But it was a no DQ. That was the whole point. And then the second match that got me was Remy Morgan, who's also part of the Level Up. He was facing against Chuck Mercer from Millennial Pro Wrestling. They had like this thing called the Best of 7 series. They were both tied 3-3, and of course the last match was more of a who will win the match, and it turned out to become a last man standing match. You know, so basically it was like, okay, who's gonna go home with the victory on this one?
Yeah.
You had tape, we had chairs, you had kendo sticks everywhere, and it was a great story how there was like this bit of a rivalry between the 2, you know. And then in the end, Remy Morgan, who I'm a fan of, won the night. And of course, Chuck Mercer gave his approval, saying, "Okay, you got me this time." And that's what I like about it. Like, they actually throw in some really good story modes on those 2 matches. Those like 2 of my favorite ones to watch. What?
Well, you have to connect with people, you know, and that just shows you right there that, you know, that the thing that you remember is the connection that it made with you. And you have to tell stories. You know, that's what wrestling is made for. That's why wrestling's not UFC. That's why wrestling's not NFL or NBA. But I don't know if you noticed this in the last 15 to 20 years. Professional sports really kind of seem to stretch it out all the way. Super Bowl's coming down in the last 2 minutes every fucking year. The NBA is going to the best 7 in the finals. You know, the World Series usually ends up going to fucking, you know, 6 to 7 games. Why is that? You know, like, why is that? That there's not a whole lot of blowouts in the end of the fucking playoffs anymore. Because they all know, you just got to make a little bit of tweak. You can call a holding play, you can call a holding penalty in every play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a choice of the referee to call or not. And you can affect so much with one call. You know, and that's the beauty of what pro wrestling has. You know, and with in this day and age where it's all inclusive, you can't make fun of people for being whatever sexual preference they are, or you know, or what religion they are. I mean, not that you could before. It's just like it's very frowned upon now. We as a society don't let that shit happen, and that's the beauty of professional wrestling, is that everybody's starting to get to know, hey man, and more eyes are on this shit. AEW is bringing new fans to like pro wrestling, you know, and WWE really isn't necessarily doing that right now. But they're still the fucking juggernaut. They're still the big. You know, Fist Combat on a much lower level is bringing new fans to professional wrestling. We're not, you know, like I don't know, like you got to always think about bringing new people into what you like. And wrestling is the coolest fucking entertainment out there, you know, and being able to showcase that off, and to be able to showcase, you know, you can come to a Fist Combat show and see a little bit of rock and roll, a little bit of punk rock, a little bit of heavy metal, a little bit of country, a little bit of classics, a little bit of oldies, and a little bit of fucking Ozzy Osbourne. You know, come to see a live show. Like, you're going to see all that shit mixed into one, into an ultimate live fan experience. You know, and that's what, in this day and age, that's what you have to do. You have to put on a show that people are going to remember and connect with. You know, that's what life's all about. Yeah. It's taking people out of the shit that they have to do and giving them something to look Draw them in and forget about the rest of the world.
Alright, so Wednesday Night War has now happened on week number 4. Now, let's talk about what happened in the NXT. It first started out with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. As you all know, Rhea Ripley wants to get a shot of the NXT Women's title, but Bianca Belair felt that it should be her up in line, so they had a face. It was a good match. It started out strong, and then all of a sudden, like near the end, Io Shirai shows up and tries to interfere, but it didn't work when she did on her, and then Candice LeRae came out to even the odds, and the victory goes to Rhea Ripley. So I'm assuming that maybe they are going to throw in the idea of her facing against Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. And then you see later Pete Dunne comes out with Tyler Bate from the NXT UK, who is in fact the first inaugural, I don't know what they were doing with him, but yeah, he was there. But they asked Pete Dunne about his response towards his loss towards Damian Priest. He gave no words, and then they asked him about Killian Dane. He didn't give a care about Killian Dane, but it kind of ended in that way. And then the next match they continued on, it was Breezango. Tyler Breeze and Fandango originally were supposed to team with Kushida, but as you know, or haven't, Kushida is now out of action, injured in his hand during a match against Walter, so they had to find a replacement, and they chosen Isaiah Swerve Scott. Wasn't sure what to think of it, because they just brought in another guy into the fold, because I know they were getting along with Kushida, and they faced off against the Forgotten Sons. It was great, you know. Basically, I didn't know what to think, but it was a good match. The victory goes to Breezango and Isaiah Swerve Scott. And then the next match kind of opened up with the NXT Cruiserweight Champion Lio Rush coming out to join the commentary section on the upcoming match. He was scouting for ones who are going to who may face him for the Cruiserweight title. So there was a match between Angel Garza and Jack Gallagher. It was alright, you know. It wasn't like nothing bad, but it was good. I mean, not great, but good. But of course, the victory goes to Angel Garza, and he's giving the look to Lio Rush that he wants the title, and of course, Lio Rush has no problem with that at all. But we just got to wait and see what they're going to go with on this one. The next thing we go is Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai versus the 4 horsewomen of MMA, Marina Shafir and Jasmine Duke. Now, before this match, William Regal announced that there will be a #1 contendership for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. So either one of these two teams will be facing the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. And I did enjoy exactly how this particular match went. I wasn't sure how it was going to be, but I did have that feeling it was Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai that were going to come up with the victory. And then all of a sudden, here comes a message on the viewing screen with the Kabuki Warriors saying this and that, you know. And, of course, that match between them is going to take place next week on NXT. Then we finally go to the main event, which is for the NXT North American Championship between Roderick Strong, Keith Lee, and Dominik Dijakovic. Now, this match was so intense. You can see Roderick Strong as the member of the Undisputed Era who wants to make sure the title doesn't go anywhere, but it kind of was going back and forth. And then you see two behemoths, Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic. So they were going back and forth on this one. It was great. I enjoyed it. I was like, well, blown away. But the victory goes to Roderick Strong. Somehow he was able to obtain the prophecy where it remained. But all of a sudden, here comes Tommaso Ciampa with that steel clutch. And then here comes Johnny Gargano. And then here comes Finn Balor. Now, I didn't know what to expect, but the next thing that happens, out of nowhere, Finn Balor gave the Pele to Johnny Gargano, and it was strange. He turned heel, and then all 4 members of the Undisputed Era were attacking Tommaso, but Balor was focusing his attention towards Gargano, and then he double stomped him right through the chest through a guardrail through the audience. No one knew what to expect, and then he gave him like a brainbuster on the ramp. Now, the Undisputed are watching this. Now, they're liking what they're seeing. But they were doing this right when he was done. The hand gestures of Undisputed Era. Like, they're telling him to join. But I saw something, I don't know what to make of it. But he was doing like the guns gesture, which is something that you may recall as Finn Balor when he was in Japan. He was referring that his past is his future. Now, I don't know if they're going to go with the angle where he goes back to that person he was as Prince Devitt, but there is no way they can do that. But we just gotta wait and see. And then all of a sudden, former Bullet Club members AJ Styles and Carl Anderson tweeted this. This is what AJ tweeted. He says, "Well, well, well." Carl Anderson, "Where have you been, Prince?" So we don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're planning to do another stable faction on this one. Now let's go with AEW Dynamite. They started out strong with the last 2 remaining semifinal matches for the tag team tournament. It started out with the Lucha Brothers and Private Party. Great match, great high flying. I'm like blown away by this performance. It was everybody were up their feet on this one, and of course the victors came out on top was the Lucha Brothers, and then the next match of the tag team tournament of the semifinals was SCU versus Dark Order. This was great, and out of nowhere, some point during the match, here comes Inner Circle with consistence of Jericho, Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz, but Hager was not there. He was preparing for his upcoming fight with Bellator. So they go to the VIP boxes, and they were doing all kinds of stuff. It was a great match. So SCU kind of took the victory on this one, and they advanced to the finals next week. So both SCU and Lucha Brothers are facing off next week. But the special treat here is Tag Team Legends Rock and Roll Express will be presenting the championship to whoever wins between SCU and the Lucha Brothers. We just got to wait and see how this goes. And then we have part 2 between Kenny Omega and Joey Janela. So this was more of a regular match, because if you guys heard that they had a dark match, an unsanctioned lights out match, which doesn't count, it doesn't affect their wins and losses type. But it was great seeing this, because Joey wanted to show more of his in-ring performance instead of a hardcore person that he's normally known for. But it turned out great. I enjoyed it. And the victory goes to Kenny. And then we jump in where Cody was doing an interview with Tony Schiavone. And then Inner Circle were interrupting him, going all this and that. So he kind of made shots again with WWE, telling them that this is not an invisible wall, yada, yada, yada. He wanted to go and beat the crap out of Jericho and the rest of Inner Circle, but he realized it was 4-on-1. And then here comes his brother Dustin, MJF, and Diamond Dallas Page. They were going all brawl everywhere. Cody kind of shoved Jericho in his face in the Dippin' Dots. It was like crazy. I didn't know what to think of it. And of course they were escorted out. And then we had a match more a constellation match from the tag team tournament between the Bucks and the Best Friends. And of course it was great. You see Orange Cassidy there too, doing his usual routine. And the victors on top came out was the Bucks. But right when they finished, the Bucks accepted the challenge between Santana Ortiz at Full Gear, which is taking place next month in November. Then we jump in at the hometown girl, since the latest episode in AEW in Pittsburgh is taking place. Britt Baker defeated this person named Jamie Hayter, who is in fact a friend of B. Priestley. They're from the same promotion. They go in Japan, Stardom. So I'm kind of excited for this, how it's gonna go. Then all of a sudden, Brandy attacked Jamie Hayter during a backstage interview. It was still unclear why. So, and then we ended the night with the main event with the TV time remaining with Jon Moxley and Pac. It was crazy. Ball for brawls, the intensity, who was going to win the match. It ended with a time limit draw, so nobody won. And of course, Moxley attacked the ref. Now, let's see who won this week. The victors go to AEW. Despite of low rates, they actually had below 1 million viewers. As for NXT, below 700,000. Well, I don't know how that happens, but I have to say, there have been good matches from both sides. I can't wait to see more. So, we'll see what's going to happen on week 5, who wins the week. Okay, so we just entered the 3rd week of NWA Power. I did not know what to expect on the card, but there were certain, half and half between interviews and matches. But it did started with Homicide and Kingston that want to get their hands on the Dawsons for their interference on their match against the Wild Cards. So basically, they have to put that on hold for the time being because they will not let this slide with the Dawson's interference. So we're going to see what's going to happen. And then the first match that started out was a women's match between Marty Bell and Crystal Rose. It was more like a faster pace kind of match. I wasn't too much drawn to it, but the victory goes to Marty Bell. I don't know who she is, but it was a right match. Then we just had another more of an interview where they had the appearance of Aaron Stevens, formerly known as Damien Sandow. He kind of dressed like one of those pirate-looking types, or the 17th century. I don't know what to make of it, because I know he was taking acting classes or whatever he was doing. So, yeah. Then the next match, they started with Caleb Noli defeating Dan Parker. I don't know who these guys are, but I have to say this guy, Caleb Conley, he is really amazing. I really feel we should pay attention to a guy like him because you may never know what to expect. He took the victory, and I have to say this match kind of opened my eyes to show, okay, I don't know who this guy is, but he really made an impression on me. Then we jump in where Tim Storm wants to give his thoughts about his match against Nick Aldis, where he lost. And the stipulation is if he loses to Nick Aldis, he won't get another title shot. He feels like he was going to give up, but here comes Eli Drake, who tries to convince him, saying, "You're not done yet. You still got more to offer. You may not get the 10 pounds of gold back, but there's another set of gold you can have." So this is more like he was trying to form a tag team formation, because we're seeing that with Cole Cabana and Mr. Anderson. So, of course, they were going to face off against the Dawsons on this one. But we jump in with later on another more kind of bizarre story where Josephus attacked Cole Cabana with white powder on his face. He was beating the crap out of him, but out of nowhere, here comes James Storms, attack Josephus, but he turned his attention back to Cole Cabana. He's trying to tell him to get up so he can do whatever, but out of nowhere, Mr. Anderson saves him before whatever James Storm was about to do. And then we jump in with the last match of that day, Tim Storm and Eli Drake teaming up for the first time against the Dawsons. It looked like they were becoming a solid team, but the victory goes to the Dawsons. But as soon as the Dawsons beat them, they continue with the attack. They were mostly focusing their attention on Tim Storm, like trying to break him in half. And then the more they were trying to do it, here comes Kingston Homicide to settle the score with them. And while the Dawsons dodged, Kingston Homicide followed. Here comes Nick Aldis trying to check up on him, seeing how he's going. And here comes Eli Drake too. But I have to say there's certain ups and downs, drawbacks, or whatever you call it on this one. But if you guys want to know, the upcoming pay-per-view that's taking place, I think, in December is practically sold out, but the name of the pay-per-view is called Into the Fire, as in the theme song they're using for their intro. But I like it. I can't wait to see this. Hope they bring out the expectations I hope they can bring out. So we just gotta wait to see what happens on the upcoming NWA Power. So as you all know, the recent MLW episodes they've been throwing. This is the third time they're throwing elements from the Crash. They actually did show a couple, 3 matches that were involved in there during their time and on that day when they collaborated with them. They had a 6-man tag team match with these groups. I don't know if I may or may not have heard them. It's been almost a year since I've been there at a Crash event. We had these guys called those Mariganes, consisted of 3 guys: Animal, Demencia, and Silver Star, against another group called Amenaza, consisted of Starboy, Arazano, and Zarco. Now, keep in mind, these are wrestlers I don't even know who they are, because there are like still wrestlers that are working in independent scenes that I may not know of. But you should check these guys out. Of course, the victory goes to Los Mariganes, but I'm not going to say it was a good or bad. I was more just consider it was an interesting thing to watch. Let's just leave it as that. And then you got the match between Joseph Samao versus Hijo de L.A. Park. Now, keep in mind, Selena de Renta believes that she has the opportunity to take back what rightfully belongs to Promociones Dorada, where L.A. Park will face off against Jacob Fatu's super fight against L.A. Park, but now they decided to declare war against him. Of course, it was this kind of match they were involved called a Tijuana Street Fight, and it turned more into a Tijuana ambush, where Hijo de L.A. Park was attacked by Simon Gotch and Quan, and of course, Selena de Renta should have known better that this was going to happen. And then it ended with the episode in a 3-way slaughterhouse match between Jimmy Havoc, Savio Vega, and Damien 666, who is a local Tijuana resident from the Crash. It was great seeing all of this. Some like hardcore match. If you guys are a big fan of that stuff, this is the kind of match you gotta watch. And Jimmy Havoc took the victory, but he continued with the onslaught against Damien 666. He was about to put him away, but Damien 666's son, Bestia, shows up to save him. And of course, Jimmy Havoc took a dodge. He did not want to deal with the son. You know how that goes. But yeah, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what's gonna happen. I don't know if they're gonna do another episode down at the Crash, because it was already been recorded. I'm not sure what they're doing now since they're not recording anything. But we just gotta wait and see what's gonna happen for next week. Alright, so let's start giveaway with the news update. Now we're gonna do stuff from the WWE catalog, so let's start with this. Wrestling Observer reported that on the latest SmackDown show on the 10th of October, the ratings dropped down to 16% following the draft. Now, I don't know what went wrong on this one. I'm not sure if it had anything to do because of the general manager. No, not the general manager. More the executive director position was being moved, because you got to remember Eric Bischoff is no longer employed by WWE. He got fired, and Bruce Pritchard took over. Now, this next revealment, I did not expect this. It appears WWE were planning to use the Hall of Fame to entice a business deal. Now, this business deal was, they were planning to purchase the #1 Yoshi wrestling promotion, Stardom. According to Pacific Rim, Fumi Saito, who is good friends with Rossi Ogawa, from the founder of Stardom, that they were planning to purchase Stardom, but apparently it didn't go through because they were planning to buy Stardom but not do anything. They were just going to buy it so they can take the wrestlers, set up a foothold in the Japanese market. When Rossi found out the deal didn't go through, now you got to ask yourself this question. Was this the reason Stardom signed with Bushiroad, because they had a much better deal? Who knows? Or is it because they just did not like how WWE run things? We may never know. We just got to wait and see. They were planning to use the Hall of Fame as a way to close the deal, but it didn't happen that way and didn't fall in their favor. Now, let's jump in with New Japan. This was reported by many social media wrestling news groups. This one came from Wrestling News Co., where New Japan are now launched a U.S. subsidiary called New Japan Pro Wrestling of America. Basically, now they're going to have shows from their banner here in the United States. And this is something that many people probably wanted. But the real question is, what does this mean for the relationship with Ring of Honor? Are they going to end it? Who knows? But people are saying, does this mean they're going to start a relationship with AEW? Well, there is a slim chance it may never happen. We just got to wait and see. Now, as you all know, on WrestleMania week, which was not that, or like maybe a couple months away, Impact announced they're planning to do a TNA reunion show. Basically, this is going to be something special where they bring back TNA. And this came from the Impact Wrestling EVP, Scott D'Amore. He tweeted this. He said, as at Tommy Dreamer, aka Tommy Dreamer, would say, no politics, no BS, just wrestling. I wonder what at Fake Kincaid, which is Alex Shelley, and Super Chris Sabin, Chris Sabian, are up to. What do you say, Matt Jackson 13, which is, and of course, Nick Jackson, YB, which is the Young Bucks. Are you ready to cross hashtag the line? No, cross the line, hashtag this is Impact. So it looks like Impact are now offering a huge opportunity for the Young Bucks to come back and relive a classic rivalry in TNA between the Young Bucks, when they were in TNA, known as the Generation Me, versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, would you want to see that match one last time? Personally, I would. So we just got to wait and see what they said. Now, I know that they said they're not going to pay back AEW on their WWE events is coming up. Well, but I don't think this is going to be a problem. We just got to wait and see what Tony Khan says, because he makes the final say. Now, MLW just announced, starting on November 9th, they will launch the first time the women's division. Now, we all know that they signed Zeta Zhang. I'm very excited for this to happen, because we definitely need to see women in this division in the MLW, because there isn't any. We just gotta wait to see, but we'll just go from there. And then finally, AAA just had this past weekend on October 19th, Héroes de Inmortalidad, which stands for, in translation, Immortal Heroes. The one match that really got the attention was Kenny Omega winning the AAA Mega Championship. Now, this championship was held previously by Ray Phoenix. Now, I don't know if you heard this or not. Ray Phoenix was unable to put that title on the line for at least a year since he won it. Now, reason that is because they were unable to make the perfect booking with him, because he's mostly focusing with his tag team role with his brother Penta. So far, he didn't had that time to enjoy it as the champion he was, but now Omega's gonna defend that title all over the world where he was gonna go. He's gonna become a fighting championship, but I don't think that title's gonna be coming to AEW because they're gonna focus more on their titles. So Kenny may have to focus wherever that title goes, and if he makes appearances in like small promotions or whatever. So we just got to wait and see what Kenny Omega is going to do now as the AAA Mega Champion. Alright, so we're now jumping in with the new acquisitions and promotions. So here's who is now and what promotions are being signed, or they're going to sign, or they're going to report in. First up, we got Jake Atlas, who is a well-known independent wrestling star. He just got signed up with WWE. I know many fans are excited to see him there. Next person is Ace Romero, known as Big Easy. If you guys remember him, he was that guy from that viral video where he actually pushed off one of the wrestlers off the ring. But he also made his appearances on MLW and AEW's Casino Battle Royale. He just got signed by Impact Wrestling. Scott D'Amore, the EVP of Impact, actually gave him a 3-year contract, and of course he signed. He just recently made his appearance at Bound for Glory in a ladder match for, I think, the X Division Championship. Don't ask me why a big guy is doing that. I don't want to know, but it was a great match. I'm not going to lie about that. And finally, we have the one person I did not expect. I'm a fan of this guy. I'm talking about the King of Dong Style, Joey Ryan. He just signed with a multi-year contract with Impact Wrestling. I forgot to mention, Ace Romero got a 3-year contract, but Joey Ryan signed a multi-year contract with Impact. He is allowed, from what I'm told, to make appearances at the independent promotions, so it will not affect them, but they are allowing him to continue to operate with Bar Wrestling, which is the promotion he runs here in LA. Well, not here in San Diego, but in LA, which I always wanted to go see, but we'll just hopefully get the chance. So we still have those. So this is for the new acquisitions and promotions that I'm now heard of. We'll just see if there's any more coming up soon. If there's any new acquisitions, you guys will be the first to know, or the seconds or thirds or whatever to hear about it. Okay, this next thing I'm going to talk about for all of you, please give your thoughts and prayers to LA Park AAA. If you may or may not have heard, this past weekend, La Parka AAA was injured. He was in a match with Chaos, which is a small independent promotion somewhere in Mexico. He was involved in a match with LA Park, who, if you guys may have known, he was the original La Parka, against Roosh, and against this other guy, I don't even know who he is. But what happened is, from what I'm being told, or from what I'm hearing, he was attempting to do a tope suicida onto Roosh. Something went wrong when he was attempting to do that. He either hit his head in the barrier or in the hard floor. It's still unclear what happened, and they went on to check on him. He said he couldn't feel his legs. It was a very scary moment, especially for those who were there. After that, LA Park made a video announcement about how people were calling him saying that he was hurt, but he reassured them it wasn't him. It was La Parka AAA who is the one got hurt, and he's asking fans, thank you for your concerns thinking it was me, but right now, please be concerned now that La Parka is the one who needs our full support on this one, and that's very touching of him, because you got to remember there's two type of La Parkas out there. There's the original, which is LA Park, and then there's La Parka AAA. So if you guys don't know who's who, just ask me and I'll give you a research, or I'll do a discussion video on this one. So we're just gonna continue on now. This thing I'm gonna explain. This became more like pardon my language to everyone, a bullshit statement from fans. From what I'm hearing, this thing, it's like we're living again the whole thing with Rey Mysterio when he's being blamed for the death of Hijo de Pedro Aguayo a few years ago. If you guys had recall, this wrestler Hijo de Pedro Aguayo died at a crash promotion consistent with Rey Mysterio and Extreme Tiger against Pedro Aguayo Jr. and suicide. And people were blaming Rey Mysterio for this. Now it seems the blame was passing on to Rush, because La Parka was planning to do the Tope Suicida on him. And I feel it's unfair that you guys are blaming, you fans who think what you think know what happened, you're blaming Rush for something he did. Now, to me, he had nothing to do with it. Whoever said this, saying it's his fault, better get your eyes checked. He had nothing to do with it. So whoever you guys are, or whoever you people are who are blaming Rush for this, you should be ashamed for yourselves. It's unfair you're blaming someone who had nothing to do with it. He was nowhere near when it happened. But of course, Rush put out a video on his YouTube channel explaining that, and I have to say, I agree with him, what he said. Stop it with all the blame. This is not me. I'm putting my character aside. We should be worried about La Parka, who's right now the one hurt. Put all of that aside. Put everything, all the negativity aside. Focus on La Parka, who needs us, who needs our attention, our love and support. And I agree with him. This is no time to blame. Well, there'll be plenty of blame some other time. But right now, this is La Parka we're talking about. La Parka is the one hurt. So I give Rush hands down because he's right. This is no time for that. So, any of you fans out there, if you don't want asking me if I should put a link of what happened in the accident, I'm not gonna do that. Out of respect, I'm not gonna do the same thing what people are doing, talking about the whole thing with Pedro Aguayo years ago. But you can still see it on YouTube. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but clearly Rush had nothing to do with it. But hopefully all I can do is pray for La Parka to make a recovery, and hopefully he can return back soon into the ring, because I know for a fact that he's set to retire soon and let his son take over, but not as La Parka, but as something else. But as for now, we just gotta pray for La Parka's immediate recovery. So I think that'll be it for now. And La Parka, can't wait to see you. Hopefully you get back in the ring soon. Alright, hope everybody enjoyed this episode of me and Nico interviewing Mikey Gordon, also known as Dirty Ron, who runs Fist Combat. Truth to be told, we videotaped this at his crib. He preferred to do it there instead of the room where we normally film our stuff. I was okay with the idea, and no, I wasn't smoking weed because I know he was doing that. I don't do that stuff at all. And those who watch, who know me, yes, it happened. He actually did have profanity. That's who he is. I'm not gonna try to tell him what not to do. That's how I want to treat all my guests at this show, because I want people to be honest with me, who they are, instead of try to me tell them how to act, how to be. That's not me. But for now, I will upload this soon. And thing is, I cut bits and pieces of this because It was very long, but I will upload the full interview some of the time. But it's once I upload this, I will work on that. I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the content I have, where I give the news updates, new acquisitions, what's going on with MLW, AEW, the Wednesday Night War, all that stuff. So if you want to leave a comment, leave it down below. Subscribe, click like. So on behalf of the leader Wrestle Zone, and Nico's not here, so this is J-Rod here. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.